Welcome to the Bad Movie Night podcast, covering the worst movies you've never seen. We hope you enjoy listening to Bad Movie Night podcast.
Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the Bad Movie Night podcast. My name is Chris, and I have showed up again this week to talk about the 2024 film, The Sintern.
Tell us what Hope of the Beloved means to you.
Pastor Dean has touched me in ways I never could have imagined.
I've got secrets I can't tell.
Pastor Dean.
Oh, man, what a movie.
Touched her in so many ways, I couldn't believe it. Oh,
Eric could not believe it. We are back, guys. Another light crew. Last week, it was just me, Rebecca, and AJ.
it was fantastic.
It is just me, Rebecca, and Aaron, who's
Yeah,
using
but
my
who's
name.
actually watched the movie?
But who has watched the movie?
Yeah. Anyways, who didn't watch the movie? I mean, we've all seen this movie before, right?
I just don't even understand how we got to this level where nobody shows up, and the people that do show up, the one person doesn't even watch the right freaking movie.
Yeah, Rebecca, why didn't you watch the movie?
Everyone knows it's you. Like, it's immediately... Everybody knows that you
Why
didn't
is it
watch
me? Wait, why does everybody know, Chris?
because Rebecca
Had you
and I
not
were
told
here
them?
last week and highly
Right.
engaged with the Tubi originals, and we were
Yeah.
excited about the Sintern.
What did you guys watch last week?
We watched
Sinister Surgeon, the
Sinister
one that you...
Surgeon.
That's why I watched it.
But I clearly said Sintern.
You did. I know.
You even commented in the Slack how you enjoyed the episode on Sinister Surgeon that you weren't on.
Oh my god.
This is just my life at this point. I have no excuses. There's no excuses for my abject stupidity. I do apologize for watching last week's movie for this week, but I am excited to talk about this movie that I know nothing about, but I've gleaned a lot of information from that short video clip and 2 images and an advertisement on IMDb. So I feel engaged and ready to discuss the Sintern.
The Sintern. Very shortly, the podcast will just be me and Rebecca, and we are going to exclusively talk about Lifetime and Tubi originals.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
That's what it's going to be. But tonight, guys, we're talking about the Sintern, which it took me a while to realize the name. And by the end of last week's episode, I did understand that she was an intern at a church for a sinful priest. And we're going to unpack all that tonight. Another Tubi original. So
Tubi's
if
just tearing it up here.
tearing it up in the vein of Lifetime, but a little bit different.
A little
again.
risque.
It's like, is it called a Tife time or like a tough time? What would it be?
It's a Tubi time.
It's a Tubi time, but not a Tubi Tuesday.
Dude,
No Tubi
Okay.
Tuesdays.
I've been watching these Tubi, I've been watching Tubi for years, and now all of a sudden they have like a little jingle at the beginning. Do you guys see this?
Yeah.
Where it's like, Tubi.
How much
Yeah.
do you think they paid someone for that?
Dude,
$4 million.
it was like literally $500,000.
Yeah.
And that guy sent 75 renditions of him going, Tubi, 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 Tubi.
I bet like Netflix, it would just be like Netflix, and they pay millions of dollars for that.
I worked on a
By
job
Menon.
that was like, yeah, exactly. I worked on a job that was like
Menon.
$200,000, and we had a voice actor, and I had to sit on the call with the voice actor and the client, which was an agency with like 5 people, and he said the same sentence, I think 70 times.
Without
Jeez.
describing it.
And I'm the editor of this job. And then they're like, I think we really liked number 6. And I was like, shut the fuck up. They all sound the same at some point. You know what I mean? Like,
At some point too, you had like all the words just start to run together, so you're not even
Oh my
saying
God,
words
yeah.
anymore. You're just.
That's like a common design trope too, right? People are like, well, I don't know, maybe it should be to the left, and then you just show them the same like web page, the same image, and they're like, perfect.
Yeah.
And you've changed nothing.
You go and you change things and you end up back
Exactly
where you started.
But you did waste everyone's time, which was what the goal, I
and
think,
you
of
got paid for it.
corporate America is. But time was not wasted tonight talking about the Sintern, or Aaron's time was.
Sometimes we wasted.
Sean had a stellar idea.
What's that?
The Tribeca Film Festival.
I like that.
What is
you guys should totally do that.
That's our new podcast.
That's really good.
You should do that.
It's really good.
That's a great idea, Sean.
Rebecca, you're gonna have to update your laptop though if we're gonna do our own show.
Yeah, it's not gonna make it.
Because you got like 3 frames over there, and we're gonna have to do high def if it's just me and you. So the Sintern, I would say, Aaron, can you tell me what the movie's about?
I can tell you actually what it's about.
Go for it.
All right.
Yeah, a young woman hell-bent on revenge takes a job as an intern, but her job takes a dark twist when she works for a corrupt pastor who exposes him for exposing her. Yeah.
Double exposure.
So much exposure.
With a secret nose ring. In the Sintern.
All right. So you did not watch the Sintern, but you did watch Sinister Surgeon. What did you think of Sinister Surgeon?
That was surprisingly pretty good. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. It was not as predictable as I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking like, okay, they're trying to lead us to believe it's the main doctor. It's got to be like the detective or something stupid. I wasn't quite expecting it to be the receptionist assistant lady. And then also, no spoilers, but we do find there's
we already
multiple
spoiled
murders involved. And
how do you legitimately tell everyone who the actual killer was and then say no spoilers after that?
because there's more than one killer.
There's a
Okay,
twist.
but at that point, you're already so deep into spoilers.
One spoiler,
killer-
but not all the spoilers.
Right, there's
Spoiled
another killer.
99% of it, but not the. Okay.
It was a little bit long, like it was drug on sometimes, and it didn't need to be. But overall, the production was pretty decent. The acting was serviceable-ish, and
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
yeah, and
Much like the Sintern. Yes, enjoyed reading that IMDb description.
well, you can at least give us a little context to the movie, I think, Aaron. So
I could.
why don't we take a moment and get up in the history hole and get a little context for the Sintern? So here we go.
So, The Sintern, Chris, as you mentioned, this is a Tubi original film. It was just released June 13th of this year, so it's a very
Hot
new
off the
release for
presses.
Tubi. Yes, hot off the presses. It is directed by Julie Herlocker. You may know her from directing random episodes of things like Grimm. She's done a few shorts.
Okay.
Las Vegas TV producer show for 36 episodes. She did a short called A Close Call.
Uh-oh.
And 7 a.m. Wednesday.
What?
It's actually
Yeah.
It's very
8:58
specific.
p.m. Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But this is her first TV movie, full-length movie that she's directed. So that's pretty cool.
Jumping in.
Jumping in, Julie Herlocker. Yep. And about that, there are other people in this movie that I did not watch that you may know. I don't know any of them, but we have Evelyn Giovanni, who plays Verity.
That would be the lead actress.
Which we don't find out her name until I don't know, 15 minutes before the end of the movie.
yeah,
Verity.
'cause
Is
she goes
that
by
like
another name.
She goes
is that
by
supposed to have
V.
some
V,
sort of
And
V,
then she goes by
and
Chastity.
Chastity.
What is Verity?
Hey, look, it's
Verity?
Irene.
Yeah.
Irene says hi, and then Irene says hi. Hi.
Hey, oh, Heidi Lee, Hodely. We have Damon Dayoub as Pastor Dean Humphreys.
You know who he reminded me of?
Hmm.
What's that guy?
Wow.
The guy who played the vampire in 30 Days of Night, whoever that guy is.
Oh, he kind of looks like that guy. This guy I've seen in other stuff though.
I want to
can't
say
remember
his
his name.
name is Danny Houston. That's who I got. He got
Danny
like
Houston.
yeah, he's like
Wait, no.
a rip off Danny Houston. That's what I want to say.
Josh Hartnett, you mean? Hartnett?
No,
Josh
no,
Hartnett? No.
You mean the bad guy?
the bad guy, Danny Houston.
Yeah, it's Danny Houston. Is in 30
I
Days
keep
of
saying
Night.
I Houston. I don't know why. Is this why
Not
you watch
Danny
the wrong
Houston,
movie?
it's
Because it's
Danny
like you
Houston.
can't
You said
comprehend.
he's, I was thinking it was some other guy you were thinking was like Danny Houston. And this guy reminded you of Danny Houston too, but no, you're right. It was Danny Houston. That's right. I can kind of see the resemblance looking at the no pictures of him on IMDb whatsoever for this episode of this show. This movie actually has two photos, one of the cover and then one of her and some other guy staring at a guy on top of a car, and then an advertisement for batteries. Cool. Yeah. Pretty much it. Seemingly most of the characters are single names. So we have Gage, Ruby, Luann, Sam, Heidi, just Coroner.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. We got Finance Bro, played by Alex Cass.
There is some notable characters. You mentioned Gage. He plays the rocker, the Christian
He's
rocker.
the guitarist, head
Crazy
love
musician
interest.
for the church.
They actually kind of
He's from
sound.
Glee.
Aaron,
Yeah.
the movie opens with a song, and it sounds like Days of the New or something like that, but in church.
Dark acoustic rock.
Yeah, but it's like a Christian version of that. I don't know.
I kind of want to hear that actually. I will have to check that out.
Days of the. Oh, I can think of as Jew, but
Jew.
doesn't really fit Christian.
I mean,
Days of the Jews. I don't know.
Jesus was a Jew, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Days of the Jew.
Puddle of God. Puddle of. I don't know.
Blood, Chris. Blood. Puddle of
Yes.
blood of Christ.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. The puddle of blood compels you. Dude, do you ever see them covering that Nirvana song with him singing and he's like spitting as he's singing? It's the funniest fucking
The Puddle
thing.
of Mud guy?
Yeah.
Dude, Puddle of Mud
That's what it
is fucking terrible.
You've got to look at
There's-
it sometime because
that
is
guy.
so bad.
I think he is like he's got some serious issues because I think like I've watched like recent things of them for some reason, and they're terrible now. Not that they were ever good, but
Yeah, it's about a girl. Even the band members are like trying not to laugh at him. He's so bad. Oh my god! All right, we'll watch that some more time.
Days of the New Testament, that is pretty good. Sean.
Days of the New
Oh,
Testament. I
that's
like
good.
that.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's better than Days of the Jew.
Is it though? Is
I
it?
don't know.
All right.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm not sold. I mean, I like it. Yeah. Anyways, let's move it along. There's no budgetary information for this, so I don't know how much they spent to make it. I think Tubi's probably fairly tight-lipped about those things. The production company was Mar Vista Entertainment and Workforce Motion Productions, which sounds like a company that makes like e-learning videos for work about workman's comp issues and things of that nature.
Safety at the workplace.
Yes, exactly.
Mar Vista has 974
They
credits.
do. They have like Rescuing Christmas, The Bad Orphan, The Deadly Adoption, The Way Home, Stolen from Suburbia,
Oh.
Bitch, Spy Kids 4, Sex Ed. No, wait, hold on.
Did you call me
Spy
bitch?
Kids
What
4.
did you say? Why did you say bitch?
Next movie is Sex Ed. Sorry.
Did you get Tourette's halfway
What
through
happened? What is wrong with you?
These are the movies. These are movies names. Number 5, Stolen from Suburbia. 6 is Bitch. 7 is Spy Kids 4. 8 is Sex Ed. So not to be confused, Spy Kids 4, Sex Ed. 9 is Perfect Match, House of Chains, The Assault, List of a Lifetime. These movies sound amazing. We got to watch a bunch of those.
Yeah,
And then
they
Workforce.
distribute-
This
they
is their
distribute a ton of shit.
only movie so far. Workforce Motion Production. Picture
So I
production.
wonder if that's the director's.
Could be their production company.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Yeah. There's not a whole lot else to really talk about. Sorry, there's just not a lot of information about this being a new release, and it's a Tubi low budget film. Yeah.
It is low budget. I don't know. It's not like
It's not like ultra low budget, right?
Yeah, it's not
like
like no budget. It's probably like a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
I would think for
a
something
Lifetime,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, there's not
Yeah.
a ton of sets or anything like that. Like they're basically in the church.
Yeah, church or apartment.
That's
and-
true. There's
Yeah.
really not.
Very
I
much
mean,
so.
so much time in the church in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
doing churchy things.
All the church.
I have a shared connection with a producer on this movie.
Oh,
you?
yeah?
Yeah, I don't want to say with what movie I am sharing credit with, but you guys can probably figure it out. Anyways, let's move on because we have a lot to talk about with the Sintern. We still have no bumper for Patreon.
Patreon.
So what do we do?
Throw the music on there, and we'll just do the ad lib. It's Rebecca's turn.
Nah.
Okay.
For just $2 a month, you too can become a Patreon and probably maybe get added to our Patreon Slack. Potentially receive access to pre-shows if we ever record them again. And get amazing benefits like giving Chris money for free. So, I mean, he does do cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know you want to be a Patreon.
I want that
He's a
Patreon.
Patreon. She's a Patreon.
Yeah, you're a
We're all
Patreon.
Patreons. Why aren't you a Patreon?
You get a car. You get a car.
freaking
You get
loser.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
You're a
Yeah.
Patreon.
Wow, Dana Washington.
There we go.
All right. We may
What
have
was that
gotten a
guy?
little-
Howard Dean?
Howard.
we
I
have
almost
got a
said
little-
Dean Kane, but I knew that wasn't right.
I got a little carried away there. That's okay.
Sorry for calling you a loser. My bad.
All right, guys. We are here now to talk about the 2024 Tubi original. That is, of course, The Sintern. Aaron, what did you think if you would have watched The Sintern? What would you have thought about
I
it?
thought the trailer looked a little flat. There wasn't a ton of action there, and I'm not really sure, was this something I'd want to see based on the trailer? But having just seen the Sinister Surgeon, I'm intrigued by Tubi's Lifetime-esque films with an edge.
With an edge.
Yeah, does this film have the edge?
Well,
Not the
to
guitarist from U2, but like,
does not have the edge from U2.
oh, okay.
But
Thank God.
does it have another kind of edge? That will be determined throughout
Okay,
this evening.
okay.
But Rebecca, what did you think?
I wasn't as into this one as Sinister Surgeon. I didn't think the story was as interesting. It just felt kind of stale. Like you knew what was happening, and if she would have just like gone with the police and stuff early on, I feel like there wouldn't have even been a movie. Like she just kind of
Yeah.
made it
It's almost like she should have just done that.
she just
Good
made it
color
drag
commentary
on longer than it needed to. I also didn't like the camera work in this. Like I felt like there was a lot of jumping around between cameras that made it kind of hard to watch. So it just didn't have quite the same production value.
I think maybe it's more of an editing problem. Like, and if you watch that trailer, you can see, like, it just cuts.
It's hard cuts.
It's cut pretty harsh and pretty jarring at times.
Yeah.
But I think I would echo pretty much everything you said. I was excited for this because we like, or at least some of us on this show like the Christian propaganda movies because they're usually really silly.
Yeah.
This isn't that though. And it's not really. You would then say maybe it's like this biting criticism of religion or churches.
Not so like in your face with everything anymore because it's so exposed now that it doesn't feel as impactful. It's not like, oh wow, horrible things are happening in churches. Now it's just like, yeah, we fucking know. That's why nobody goes there anymore. We don't go to Raven Home.
Yeah, it's not. But it's not that though either. So like this movie rides the line of like not being super hypercritical of churches, but more or less of just this one because there was a lot of good natured people in this church as well.
I think that's
Like
pretty realistic.
he and
right?
his wife are the problem.
Him and his wife. It's like an abuse of power kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie though for me, it has a lot of the structure and bones of Sinister Surgeon once you get past the premise or the opening. Otherwise, it's very similar. Somebody was killed, and our character is related to them somehow or or is involved somehow, and it's the mystery of figuring out who amongst the
Right.
characters we're introduced to. However, I think what this movie does a lot worse than Sinister Surgeon was there's no real red herrings. There's no like, who could it be? From the start, we think it's the priest is going to be a bad guy, and
Is
then
he a
it's
priest?
just
This is a Catholic
Pastor.
church.
No,
pastor, priest. I don't fucking
Okay.
know. What is
Okay.
is there? Okay, I don't know
Yes,
the
there's
difference.
he's a
difference.
pastor.
Yeah.
He's a pastor.
This is a Protestant church.
This is a
Okay.
Protestant church. All that stuff. But like, there was no twists. There was one reveal that I don't know. That was a little bit of a shock, but beyond that, it was just the matter of getting to the conclusion of revealing that he's the evil.
Like,
So
it
do the
just-
other characters know?
they needed
Sorry.
evidence. Like, everybody knows.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Okay, so then even that part's not like, oh, but you're in on it, but the other characters aren't yet. It's none of that. Like, you don't get that
Not
either.
really. Like, it's kind of one of
Damn.
those things that like people know, but they don't really talk about. Like, everybody just kind of,
You know, like
ignores
when
it,
when your friend on the podcast watches the wrong movie, you know this. You
Oh,
don't
we
really
talked
talk
about
it.
it.
though. I know. That's what the hell. This is what's wrong with the podcast in America.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a bunch of characters who like sweep stuff under the rug or are aware of it, of what possibly happened. I guess is, but like it's the two people at the top abusing their power and getting away with it, and then like our underdog character coming in, and she does go through some growth as a character.
Yeah, two people at the top abusing their power. Underdog comes in. Yeah, okay.
and
following you.
she's like very punk. She grew up in the foster system, so she has this like hard edge to her. She's got a nose ring,
Purple hair.
she's gonna go undercover as this intern, social media intern. So
does
there's
she
like,
take out the nose ring and
yeah,
the
she
hair?
takes out the nose
Oh,
ring.
yeah, there's a
she
whole
dyes
montage
her,
here.
yeah, she takes off the makeup, then gets the plain clothing.
I mean, these are Protestants, not like Mennonites, right? So did she need to do all that?
Well,
Not really, because when she goes to visit the church before she decides to be the intern, and the woman in charge invites her to apply as an intern when she
Dressed
looks
in her normal.
right. So I don't know that it would have mattered.
Huh.
and Gage, the sexy Christian rocker, has nose rings too.
Yeah, he's got tattoos. He's got long hair. Like,
So it's I think
plot
it's
thickens.
I think it's supposed to show like, because she starts out like we're saying she's like committing crimes and shit. She owes like money to a drug guy, like a drug
She's not
lord
like an innocent person here either. You're saying
no.
No, she's a Sintern. That's what I would call her.
Yeah.
She's covered in sin, and she's an intern. And she has to go through that journey, and she has to overcome her upbringing and all this stuff to find the truth of what's going on at this churchyard.
So, I mean, is her character arc that she ends up being a good person, or not that she's bad, but like ends up being a?
I mean, she's kind of bad.
She's like the hero, but she's
But not a
being
full
like
anti-hero
tracked
type
down
character.
by the police. Like, she runs from the police multiple times
multiple times.
and just like gets away with it.
Is that considered a sin, or is that? I mean, it's just a human law, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is
I'm
This
killing
is
the
deep.
podcast with my questions. I'm sorry.
That's deep question. I don't know. I don't go to church. I don't fucking know. So if I go to church, I say, am I allowed to run for the cops? Is that a sin? Is that what you're asking
As
me?
long as you
kinda
get
wanna go-
forgiveness.
Like do donuts in the parking lot, and then when the cops show up, like.
But
drive
I'm
off
a
into the
Christian.
sunset.
Dude,
Yeah.
okay, so all right, one generic thing before we get into the plot of this movie, but one thing that also set this apart quite a bit, well, maybe two things, set this apart quite a bit from Sinister Surgeon was Sinister Surgeon had a lot of horror elements and was very gory at times.
Yeah, it was.
I was eating while watching that, and it made me feel a little slightly uncomfortable with some of the face peeling and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's pretty good.
And this movie is way more Lifetime original, except there's like 3 scenes where they drop the F-bomb.
Yeah.
And
Is that
outside
needed?
of no, it's not needed at all. I don't think.
Doesn't really fit.
And the
No,
and the
if
other,
you would take that out, you could put it on Lifetime.
It's
No
that-
problem.
yeah,
it's that,
100%. And I don't
so
know
there's
what the
no
need for it is.
hammer to the nose action or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
Like Sinister Surgeon.
No.
Okay,
Not at all.
that's disappointing. I wanted to see her like impale him with the cross or something.
Well, it's not that kind of movie, Aaron. The sin
know.
that you'll see in this movie is
It's more
not
of a sexual sin.
well, there is some of that, but there is a murder. But still, like, there's not like a
there's
stalker
no-
killer.
There's no like murder shown. Like the
No.
murder occurs, but it's off screen.
I gotta admit, guys, this sounds pretty bland. I'm kind of glad I watched the wrong movie.
I wasn't not entertained. I think the lead actress does a pretty good job.
Yeah, she does.
I think the movie is predictable, but I think it's paced decent. The production quality is fine. It is not as good as Sinister Surgeon. It does not have as good and fun of lighting and stuff like that. It's pretty flat in those regards. I think the priest, preacher, what is he called?
Pastor.
Whatever. I think he also does a
Priester?
pretty good job. I think his wife character is very much the.
She plays the part well.
Well,
She looks like she would
real
fit right on
actor.
Fox News as like
Yes.
you know what I mean. Like
That guy's
Yeah.
a real actor. I've seen him in other stuff. Like he's pretty decent, like actor, right? So
I don't know if I've seen him, but I thought he was good.
yeah,
And so I don't have any issues really with the production, and I don't really have many issues with the film. I just don't think it was just kind of vanilla. It was kind of boring. It starts out with, like we said, Days of the Jews, or what was it? Days of the New Testament or
Shells,
something.
they're in the room. Yeah,
Playing some songs and stuff, and then it cuts to our lead woman V, or Chastity, as she's later known as, receiving a phone call from her mother in the middle of the night. Her mother making a phone call from a payphone, which I don't even know how that happens. It made me think that it wasn't like modern day, but it definitely was.
It was because she even says like, do payphones still exist?
Yeah.
So it's like the one in the city.
Yeah, and so there's a couple moments in this movie that if you took them out, the writing would be a much higher score. But there's a couple things like that out of convenience that they throw in just to make it happen that really lower like the effort in the writing. A payphone is not common. It would be so hard to find, and like, come up with a better thing than that.
Do you think they're like purposely doing that to get it to fit to more of the Lifetime vibe, like to kind of lower it a little bit to meet that sort of, just?
I think they were doing it to set up No, I think it was just to set up the mystery around her mom's disappearance and death.
Okay.
Because this way too, she's across the street from the church. So like she's like tethered there because she's on a payphone, and like she's not just walking away from the church. She now has to stand there to have this conversation, which allows the pastor access to her.
It builds the tension area.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's her boyfriend or partner, crime partner throughout the film as well. We're introduced to him. They owe money to
drug dealer. Well, a mob guy.
Yeah, ultimately a mob guy.
No.
So she's like wrapped up in crime. Her mom is missing, and then it's found dead. And it culminates in her going to a job interview to intern at this church because she's learned that there's some backstory with the pastor and her mom, and some sort of mystery unraveled, and she wants to get down to the bottom and figure out how her mom was
This is an
killed.
intentional mystery.
But
yeah, she's not just
she's
falling
also
into this.
wrapped up with the police detective too. He's an old friend of her mom's, and she believes that he's her dad.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
wow.
true. Oh yeah, that's and that comes back later with the twist.
Yeah.
But I think one of my favorite parts of the movie was when she goes to interview at the church for the intern job, and it's like when they ask Trump like what his favorite Bible verse is, and he just BS's
It's too
some
personal. I don't want to talk about
And-
it.
She just says there's so many.
Yeah, that's what she does.
There's
she's
so
like,
many.
How could I pick? There's so many. And like he picks up on it right away, and he's like, "All right, well, thanks for coming in." So she just starts crying and kind of manipulates the situation.
Okay.
And it's also kind of clear, or started to become clear at that point, like that the pastor is sexually attracted to her.
How is
and
that clear? It becomes clear because of like visual indicators.
I think so. There's just a couple
Just
little
like
hints.
proximity stuff
Yeah.
and
So too close to her,
touching.
kinda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's important for later in the film, but she kind of manipulates her way into this job of being an intern, a paid intern, which we know now that this is definitely a movie and not reality.
Yeah.
What?
A paid
always pay
social media
interns.
intern.
Okay, they
Social
don't
media.
normally get paid. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, she starts doing her job, and she's also trying to find out information, and she does everything in the least subtle way.
Yeah.
Like on day number 1.
So she's not a great detective, right?
Tell
She's
me what you think
wait.
about the pastor.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she does make cookies, which led to a pretty good montage.
No, she doesn't. She steals them from the bakery.
Jesus.
Wait, I missed that. When did she do that?
Because when she's on the way to the interview, she steals the muffins first. Like
I totally missed that.
there's a bakery that just has their doors open and the products sitting there, so she like stuffs them into a container and takes them to the interview, and then on her first day she stops at the bakery again and throws cookies into the container.
It feels like the title of this is very fitting. I wasn't expecting it to really describe her, though. This is interesting. So our lead is not a great person.
Well, and she also stole from the church when she first visited.
Yeah, she did do
Like
that.
that was before the whole internship thing. Like she's in the church, like
This girl needs
getting
Jesus.
a feel.
I mean, I think that's obviously like super intentional that the roles become flipped, where like the pastor that is loved by the community and by all because he's such a great guy turns out to be a piece of shit,
Right.
abusing his power, and she is like this downtrodden woman doing whatever she needs to survive and not doing things that are probably morally right, but she becomes, she learns her ways, and she
there are
perseveres and all that
levels,
shit.
right?
It's called
I mean,
character
Right,
development.
right.
There's levels of being a shitbag. You have like a compact shitbag, like a baggy, a shit baggy.
Like she's
Yeah,
not
have, like,
as
a,
bad as her boyfriend. Like he's definitely another level.
I think the problem with him was that he was an awful actor.
Yes.
His
Yes.
acting was the worst. And the way they made him like be the badass or whatever, the bad boy, was they just gave him a leather jacket. But he didn't look the part at all.
No, he was very like surfer
Yeah, he was more
and very
surfer.
clean, and like he didn't meet the street rat hardened.
But do you normally
Criminal.
think of surfers as clean? Like, not
No,
like they're
but I don't-
dirtballs,
Maybe
but
more like
clean.
preppy
Okay.
with a leather jacket on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was worried when they did that whole like montage with Chastity and her going to, like, I thought that it was going to be ultimately like she found her way because she found God or something, like that. It was going to be like faith that changed her, and they don't do that.
No,
thankfully.
they
Well,
don't.
if it was a true Christian movie, that's what would happen.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
And they would leave out the whole sexual stuff with the pastor.
Of course.
Yeah.
Did you think, Rebecca, Aaron, you're not going to have an answer to this. Did you think that Gage, the sexy rocker boy, was kind of supposed to be a red herring?
I wasn't sure what his role was going to be. Like if he was going to try to, like if he was in on it kind of thing.
It's like a tag team situation we got going on.
Or
here.
like everybody like covering up and
Okay, he's yeah.
but I
he's
think he
covering
truly
up,
like
right.
didn't know
No.
what was happening.
His whole job was to like show up and write songs about Jesus. Like that's what he did all day long, Aaron.
So had he known, do you think he had the character to do something about it? Or he would have felt
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
he helps her out.
Oh, he helps her. Whoa, yeah.
Yeah,
Just you wait.
she goes into detail about what's going on, and he like gets all sorts of surveillance videos.
Okay. I like this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing of this movie is, and I think Sinister Surgeon had a lot of this too, where it had like montages, but it had like these music scenes, and the music sounds like very contemporary. It sounds like something you hear on the radio. And it's not like it's bad. Like it sounds like any other asshole on the radio, but for whatever reason, it's just
AI.
it's like stock. But they failed to be on the radio, so now they're stock music.
Now you're on a
you gotta
Tubi
make
movie.
Yeah, but
gotta make the money.
the quality is really good. So they have all these montages with lyrics that they try to make fit the situation. I forget
Is it like contemporary, like Jesus music, where it's like,
no, it's like
"Oh
pop music.
God,
No.
Jesus, we love you, Jesus," like
No.
that kind of stuff. No,
I don't even. Is that even what Christian music sounds like anymore?
no, it sounds like really crappy adult contemporary, but the lyrics
It's
are just
more
like,
like
"We praise
Poppy
you."
stuff that just has a Christian.
Really pathetic lyrics.
Yeah.
that, are not like, if you love your God so much, could you write some good goddamn lyrics about it, and not just. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't
My
think I
bad.
know any real Christian music that's good, or that I know of. Creed, maybe.
Is that Christian music?
Is that Christian?
Yeah. Can I take you higher? Where is he taking me to?
The washing machine?
I thought he was taking me to Jesus.
What?
Why am I going to a washing machine? What? What does
He's
that
putting
mean?
you up higher.
What? Rebecca, I don't.
We move
don't
from the
know.
couch to the
I don't
washing
think Aaron's
machine.
cut out for our podcast.
Let's see. We've got
I'm
Switchfoot,
compensating. Switchfoot.
Okay.
I think I've heard one of
We
their
were
songs.
meant to live so
Casting
much more.
Crowns
I never
for
heard of
King
that.
and Country.
What
PO
about
POD,
oh yeah, payable on death.
Yeah,
Jars
We
of
are, we
Clay.
are. Okay.
I remember Jars of Clay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had that song.
That was
What
30
song?
years ago. What else have they been doing?
Delirious with a question mark.
What was the Jars of Clay song? Flood, that's right. What was the? Is there like a band called Is it the Used or something like that? I don't know. Are they one of those?
Well, there are
Is it
those
an
like
emo band?
hardcore bands.
Yeah.
Seventh
Christian.
Day Slumber.
Okay. Anyways, so
Yeah.
what ultimately comes to pass is there is a woman who kind of runs the place. What's her name, Rebecca?
Luann.
Luann, something like that, who kind of is like a hard ass. She's hard to read. She seems angry.
Yeah.
She seems kind of mean.
She doesn't want her to be there. She
Doesn't want her to be
doesn't
there.
think she should have the job.
And some things are revealed eventually in the movie.
Seems like she understands what's going on though.
Chastity. Oh yes, Chastity
Yes.
tries to secretly tape the pasture, and during this sequence, she kind of says, "I'm struggling with my desires," and he takes that as like a cue that she's into him, and he
What
assaults
an
her.
asshole.
Yeah,
What
So
an asshole.
He assaults her, and it's captured on camera.
on camera.
And she then uses that footage to try and blackmail the pastor and the church to get $250,000.
Hey, she's an asshole too.
Well, because she needs the money to pay the mob
Drug.
guy
Yeah.
because her ex-boyfriend is still coming after her. And
But eventually, it all ends up that woman, Juliet, or whatever her name was, Rebecca Luann, has been building a case against this church and pastor for a long time.
Okay.
With her help and with Chastity's help and with the cops' help, they think they can bring this church down.
But it's really just the one guy, right? The pastor.
Well, but he's
really
trying to make it go global. Like that's her
Yeah.
job is to
the sexual
increase
assault or the
no,
No,
the
the
like the
reach of the
church
church.
itself because he that way more money and
more people
so
for him to assault. Okay, yeah,
right.
okay.
So
Yeah.
her job
building-
as social media is to make them go global. So everything is being broadcast now worldwide.
Okay.
But then his confession is broadcast worldwide.
That end, though,
That's pretty cool.
there is a whole bunch of shit that goes down at that end. That again, that's where the writing it feels like complete shit to me.
Yeah.
Because she, for one, there's like a whole meeting of Chastity and her sister and that Luann lady who's at the church and the detective, and they come up with a game plan. And Luann's like, "You guys just hang out at my house until we do this. We're gonna arrest this person, and I'm gonna look into all this, and this is what's gonna happen. And by Friday, it'll all be taken care of." And then it just cuts, and like we don't see any of that.
Uh-uh.
None of it. And then all of a sudden it's the afternoon of Friday and Chastity comes bursting in and it's like, "What's going on? This was all supposed to be done by now." Freaking out.
Well, and part of Luann's whole scheme is she ran DNA on Chastity/Verity.
Oh yeah, that was revealed too.
And Bombshell, the pastor, is her father.
Oh God! What?
Which leads to like
So
an Ace
then
Ventura
she's-
scene of her throwing up.
Okay. Okay. What? I
Yeah.
did not see that coming.
No,
Neither
no,
did
that
she,
was
apparently. Yeah.
that was a plot twist.
That was a
there
plot
like
twist.
a Darth Vader like no?
I
Something like
honestly
that? No?
wasn't expecting that.
No, neither was I.
That's
So that
pretty
was
fucked up.
they got me on that. She bursts in while the pastor is giving a live preaching festival. What's it called when they do that shit? When they preach
Church service?
festival.
church service, preaching festival, whatever. A live preaching festival. She busts in. She just says, "I'm fucking done. You're a rapist. You're a murderer. You killed my mom. Also, you're my dad." He's like, "Oh no, I
Prepare
didn't."
to die.
And then all of a sudden, her ex-boyfriend, the criminal guy, just walks up on stage with a gun. He's like, "That's the good time to say I need the money."
Yeah.
While they're recording live. Then out of nowhere, Gage, the sexy rock star of Days of the Jews, aka Days of the New Testament, jumps in, pushes the criminal down, saving Chastity, but the gun goes flying. The pastor picks it up, points it at her because he's been claiming he's
points it
innocent
at
the whole time.
Luann.
Yeah, and he says, "No, I'm going to shoot you now. I'm innocent." And then Luann's like, "Oh, you better not. She's an old lady." And then Chastity pushes her out of the way, takes the bullet. She's on the ground. Motherfucker. And then the cop
But the
bursts
cop
in.
is there.
As cops do, immediately starts shooting everyone. And then the pastor goes down. He's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." And then the movie, that's it.
That's
I'm
not quite
intrigued
the end.
now. Yeah, this sounds.
I mean, that's almost the end.
That sounds
and
pretty
then
cool.
that's all
Eh.
wrapped up. And then it cuts to 7 years later, and it's not quite 7 years. It's probably like a day or two.
No,
but
she
we'll go-
still has the sling on her.
It's like 7 years later, and she
Is
is
it like
now
gangrenous?
making out with Gage, the sexy rock star,
Yes.
as
And-
one does. Yeah.
and
right.
roll the beautiful credits. That's it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it turns out he had this security guard that was with him all the time, but
Oh, yeah.
also so he was in on everything. He knew what was going on and kind of would clean everything up. His wife knew what was going on and would just kind of throw money at any situation, to keep the women quiet because it was usually that they were in need, like the church was helping them because it was a single mom or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
So she would just throw money at the people to keep them quiet. So they're all arrested.
So does Gage end up being like the pastor's son or something cool too on top of it? So you get
No.
like that double whammy ending kind of thing?
No.
No.
No, he's just a sexy rock star.
Okay. from Days of the Jew. Got it.
That's
All
it, and that's it. I mean,
That's really it. There's not much. There's not really much of a arc there, is there?
not really.
Like she doesn't redeem herself by becoming a better
Well, and
person.
it says a little bit
necessarily.
about like there's a plea deal because like she committed crimes.
Yeah.
So like they just kind of wrap that up by being like, oh, because she helped out with this case, she was able to reach a plea deal, and now she doesn't like everything's taken care of.
I mean, at the very end, they reveal that like they have a memorial for her mom.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it.
Yep. But it's in the same church that all of this went down.
All of it went down.
So there really isn't a lot of other sets. There's not.
No, but I don't think that's a hindrance. Like this,
No.
the church set is cool. It looks like
Is
a
it?
church. I feel like it feels like a church too. Like
Even like the hallways and offices and stuff, like it works.
Okay.
and like that, the rocker guy and stuff like that stuff feels like how modern Christian churches are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think I just wanted more over the top drama and stakes. I wanted more murders happening. I wanted the pastor to be murdering lots of people and not just like got away with one murder and it was the unraveling of that mystery.
Or to be like some like there was the twist that he's her dad or whatever, but it really didn't make a difference to the movie. Like
No, not really. Yeah, like if that wasn't in there, how would that have changed anything?
right, it wouldn't have.
So the Sintern.
Sintern, huh?
It's no sinister surgeon.
Mm-mm.
There are a lot of To Be Sin movies.
There are.
Just typing
Fair.
in sin. I think that's why I got distracted because I saw the cover and I was like, "That's the one."
That's why we found this movie because when we
Right.
typed in
Because when you
sinister,
typed in
yeah,
Sinister Surgeon,
Comes back a ton of options.
yeah,
I mean, I'm still game to watch more of them. I think this one sounds like it was less interesting, but not completely unredeemable either.
right.
I don't know if this is how all Tubi originals are because I feel like I saw that there was like just some straight horror Tubi originals and stuff. So I don't think this is just like one lane they're going in, but it's definitely a lane that they are fulfilling.
Well, and I thought Sinister Surgeon felt like a Lifetime movie, but with those little like sharper edge because we get some actual gore.
Yeah.
You know, we get a little bit more, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. If it's got that Lifetime vibe, but just a little extra edge, that's great. But it sounds like in this, it's just the extra edge was maybe some swearing, and that's about it.
Just some swearing.
Like 4 times.
Yeah.
I went to the beach this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Asbury Park, which is very nice and expensive area. But then when you leave that area, it gets, questionable.
Yeah.
And so I had rented a hotel last minute. It was like a week.
The whole
So I was
hotel?
like, fuck. A hotel room
Oh, okay.
just for one night. And it was like $300, but it was last minute. And then I get there and I'm like, this is not a hotel. This is a motel.
Oh.
And it's 10 minutes from Asbury Park, but it's definitely in a more questionable area. And next to the motel is a strip club.
Oh.
I'm like, all right. So the motel, not
We
the
hand
greatest.
out flyers like.
It was
for
clean.
things, you know?
It was clean, but not the greatest.
Yeah.
That's not even.
Did
the
you
thing.
pay by the hour?
No.
Okay.
I think normally the room probably would have been about $90 a night, but because I waited, like it was like the last room, so I paid $300, a way overpaid. But leaving the motel to go back to Asbury Park to get like dinner and stuff, stop at a stoplight in a fairly rundown, questionable area, and a very questionable looking dude wearing questionable looking clothing, carrying a very questionably rusted saw.
What?
Walking creepily into a sandwich shop. I was like, this is a movie waiting to happen. I don't know what
amazing.
happened after that, but it did not look normal.
It's like
And,
falling down, but with like a serial killer. We need something like that.
I was like, what is this guy? He's not
Yeah.
going in there to work. on
Well,
anything.
maybe he is. Maybe
That saw is not ready to be cutting any wood.
Maybe
it
he's-
was rusted and
fixing some stuff.
maybe. And then the other thing that happened was I fell out of the shower
Whoa.
because I slipped and I fell out of the
Jesus,
shower.
dude, careful! You're gonna die
I wished, but
in
I
a
didn't.
seedy motel,
Yeah.
and then
and
you
that-
catch you up into little
that,
pieces.
that was my trip to the beach.
Well, that sounds like
Okay.
a ton of fun.
Why only one day?
I don't know, just for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, that's cool.
I had a lobster roll, which was really good.
That sounds good. Sounds good.
The beach was nice. But that, anyways, that was my story. That was the new Tubi original coming soon, called Sinister Sawman.
He works at Subway.
Yeah, he does.
Mr. Subway.
That's how he cuts the sandwiches.
With a
Rebecca,
rough-
would you recommend the Sintern?
I don't know. I guess. It's don't watch it after Sinister Surgeon because it's no comparison.
Yeah,
But-
Aaron.
Yeah, based on what you guys said, I'm not sure that I'm gonna go actually watch this one. It just seems like it's maybe not quite enough for me.
Yeah, I'd pass. Definitely step down from Sinister Surgeon. Still not bad, especially considering a lot of the shit we've watched on the show.
Yeah.
But I think you could do better. All right, let's move on. Play a game. Here we go.
Game time, baby.
Your theories are the worst kind of complete, right? Your methods are sloppy and your conclusions are highly implicit. Shall we play?
All right, we're gonna dive into the world of megachurches. I think this church wanted to be a megachurch, didn't quite make it. I think that was his ultimate goal. How many weekly attendees does a church need to be a megachurch?
Weekly,
Weekly.
8,000.
10,000.
So you only need about 2,000 to be a megachurch.
I mean, we have a few near us, right? We have like LCBCs,
Yeah.
massive,
Yeah.
but not like down south. Have you ever seen some of those? Those are like,
Yeah.
Why?
What state is home to the current largest megachurch? Is it Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, or Mississippi?
God damn. Mississippi doesn't have the money to build a mega church. Florida, it would just sink.
Oklahoma.
Oh, I'm going to go with Oklahoma too, because Texas it got shot up or something. I don't know.
It is Oklahoma. It's the Life Church. About how many weekly attendees does it have?
Well, based
So
on
to be a
just,
mega church, it has to have at least 2,000. So this is the biggest one.
50,000.
5,000.
They've got 85,000
Jesus.
Get the
attendees.
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Fucking
Do they
idiots.
preach like the prophet gospel crap? Like, you got to give me more money for a plane for
Oh,
Jesus.
of course.
Yeah, prosperity gospel.
Joel
Yeah.
Osteen's church was number 3 on the list for size, and he's in Texas. So in 2018, how much did Life Church receive in just cash donations?
30
So this
million.
is collecting like down the line.
$30 million.
$52 million.
They had
Holy
$143.4 million
Why? What do they do with
in
it?
cash donations, and it's non-taxable. All of that is
A scam.
straight income. Yeah. What percentage of attendees have been with most megachurches less than 5 years? So they're fairly new members.
68%.
25%.
67%.
Wow, that was a good guess.
Yeah. Most of them are brand new and then they move on after not too long. What percentage of megachurch members volunteer or do work for the church?
2%. You don't need that many when you have that many people.
6.
55%.
What do they volunteer for?
They're doing
Spit-
all the
cleaning the
stuff.
private jets,
Well, even like running
polishing
the
various
light
knobs, and things.
running the light boards, handing doing collection, all of
You
that.
collect that much money. You don't need to
Did you say
volunteer.
polishing knobs? Is that what you said?
Yeah, like the
did.
religious ones.
But if you get volunteers to do that, then you don't have to pay people,
Hey,
and now
yeah, but-
there's even more.
Have
Money.
you ever dealt with
Money.
volunteer sound operators? It's a shit show because
They
they
don't care.
don't know what they're doing.
What % of megachurches were founded before 1961?
0.
1.
This is surprising. 57%. Yeah.
That's
so
been
this
a thing for
isn't
this
a
long?
new phenomenon. They've been around.
But these things are declining, right? Like overall church attendance is going way down quickly. But these things are still trucking.
Yeah. I mean, LCBC opens up new campuses all the time.
I mean, if I wanted to go to church, that'd be the one I'd go to because then I could just like not have like no one would know I'm there or not.
Right.
If you're ever going to a small church, you're like, I didn't see you last weekend. You're like, fuck off.
What do
I
you get out
went
of
to
that?
the southern
I
campus.
don't get anything out of it. I never understood it. It's just I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Is it just because you're afraid of dying?
Yeah, people are, and okay, if it brings people comfort, that's fine. But it shouldn't be shoved down everybody else's throat.
Okay.
Yeah. See, Chris, if you didn't have religion, everybody would murder and rape and pillage and plunder.
Right.
No, you can have morals without this.
Well, and
but
we have religion and people still do all those things. So
in the name of religion,
Sorry, I hit the button too early.
it's fine. We're just pontificating.
yeah.
All right. Time to move on and do some listener feedback. Here we go.
Recent listener feedback, sir.
Make it so, number one.
Emails. You tiny little emails. You precious little emails. Where are you?
All right. Last week, we watched Sinister Surgeon. Spiv is not here yet again. He's on his... How long do we know how long?
Canadication. He comes back in early August.
Wait, so how many weeks is he gone for?
This week and next week.
So 3 weeks.
And last week.
He wasn't gone last week.
He wasn't here
Yes,
last
he
week?
was.
He wasn't on Sinister Surgeon?
Nope.
No.
Oh, we
'cause
didn't
he
get to
said
watch
he
the
didn't
movie.
have
Either one
time
of
to
us.
watch the movie,
Yeah.
and then you
I
said
ditto.
ditto.
Unbelievable.
All
right.
I've been struggling with some depression. I'm sorry. It's
Here we
fine.
go. David Black says, these Tubi originals have solid titles. Sinister Surgeon and Sintern are both great, especially Sintern. It was great to see Chris react when it was explained to him. I think the plastic surgery that everyone who missed being on the podcast needs is an extra head, so that it could be on the podcast while the other head did whatever the other one was doing. So that it could be on while the other one... Oh, okay, I got you. Our title,
themselves. Yeah.
Sinister Spurgeon.
Sturgeon. It's about a killer fish.
They'll take a bite out of you.
Spurgeon or sturgeon?
I like how David Black still does the alternate title. We haven't done
I
that in
know.
like years at this
I'm
point.
glad he does this.
Cindy Luhu says, y'all should absolutely have guests. Well, normally we have 6
We just
people on
have
this damn
people.
show. So that's why we don't usually have guests. But yeah, at this point, we're like barely hanging on here, guys. This is like fucking...
To be fair, we've been doing this for many, many years at this point with
8
middling
years.
success. So
With
no,
huge
none.
success.
With no success. Jeffrey Long says, on the topic of good Tubi originals, they recently came out with a Tubi original teen slasher called Killer Body Count, and it's actually pretty damn fun and decently made. It's directed by the same woman who did the Banana Splits movie and the remake of Slumber Party Massacre. I did not see the remake of Slumber Party Massacre, but I did see the Banana Splits movie, and if I recall, I enjoyed it. Me and Ian did a review of it at one point. That's cool. So that's like what we were saying. There's other Tubi. The Tubi original doesn't
Paths.
mean just Lifetime.
Yeah.
Jinx says, and the curse of the dual AJs strikes again. Yeah. This week, it's the dual Chris's because Aaron's Chris as well.
yeah, I have a cookie. I guess I'm logged in as you.
Devin Paul says, by title alone, kind of sounds like Autopsy, which is a movie that I have not seen. Anybody familiar with the Autopsy?
No.
Do you guys remember when they had the Alien Autopsy movie? And it was like in like they had the little alien guy in like a RV, and they were doing autopsy on him, and everybody thought it was real.
Yeah, but it really was just outtakes from X-Files.
It was probably like nowadays it would just be like they do it and everybody thinks it's real, and then they're like, actually, it's cake.
Dude, some of those are ridiculous.
I know. I know. Maxwell King Horse says, great video, mate. I also review horror movies. Your style's kick ass. Keep it up. P.S. just subbed. That's great. Jinx says, just call me Jinx, blaming Lindsay for the movie and saying she's older than you. Shame, sir. Shame. Laugh out loud.
I mean, she is older than Chris.
Lindsay is very, very old.
She's the second
by all
oldest,
counts.
right? Or Smith is? I don't know.
Yeah, by the year of our Lord, Lindsay is older than all of us.
No.
Some of us combined. And
I think I'm the oldest.
And she makes us watch the beat 'em up movies with the
and they're amazing
men. And that's all true. I'm not making any of that up.
Yeah.
Spiv is also very old.
You mean he looks old? He's not that old. He just is old.
Very old. Very old.
He looks young and old at the same
Chronologically,
time.
he's not that old. But
he's very frail.
Physically.
When you have a lot of money, you don't have to do things. And that's where your body starts to...
What?
Break down.
Yep. And now... like, it's like... I could bend over and pick up something, or I could bend over and pick up my pillow.
Why do that?
But why do that? Why would I do that if I have money? I'll just pay somebody to do that for me. And so you never bend over again.
Spiv is also frugal, so I don't know about that, Chris.
Which I don't understand people who make a lot of money are frugal, because you can't take it with you guys.
Oh, but you can do positive things with it.
What has Spiv ever done besides buy extremely overpriced couches?
He's got some couches. I don't know.
Exactly.
He paid for my concert ticket and my dinner.
Well, what the frick? He doesn't even show up on the podcast. He hasn't been on for 3 months at this point.
Sure he has.
All right. What do we got for the wheel? Let me see here.
So we're going with killer body count if we land on...
That sounds pretty cool.
Fingernails.
I don't know.
Oh, so I guess when are we doing this again? If you guys are going on, who's going on vacation? Rebecca, are you
I'm
out?
out next week.
Well, I'm here.
I think Lindsay's still out.
I thought Lindsay was back.
No, Lindsay's back, and I think AJ's back.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So
So pick something else. Aaron, you pick this week if it lands on the
I don't have anything on tap here, Chris.
Okay,
to pick.
Sean, give us something in the comments.
I don't have. I'm not signed in IMDb to look at my long list. Why is it so slow?
Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Last night we watched Breakdown with Kurt Russell.
Oh, it's a great movie.
So good.
Great movie.
It's a great movie.
Where did you find that? I'd like to see that again.
Stefan has it on DVD.
Oh,
it's
nice.
a great movie.
I wonder if I have that on Plex. I should look.
I can't find it. We'll see what happens. It won't win. It'll get us.
Can we watch Breakdown?
No, it's way too good. Mother of frick on a stick.
And roll it again.
Just roll it again. That's fine.
What about the movie Kolobos?
What is it? Excuse me, sir?
That?
Kolobos.
That sounds like I'm mispronunciating something.
I just randomly picked something, and it says 5 young individuals live in an isolated lodge filming their daily activities, but the house is locked down and they encounter a murderous serial killer. It's on Tubi from 1999.
Okay. Let's watch it. Kolobos.
How do you spell that?
I don't even know. I don't know how I came up with this.
There we go. We can do Ator the Fighting Eagler.
What's Sean say?
It's a sword and sorcery type thing, right?
Oh, frick. I'm not doing a sword and sorcery without Spiv.
We're gonna need Spiv and Rebecca. We need your ex-husband.
Yeah, we need Todd to go.
Get Todd on the phone.
Todd.
Motherfucker on the phone.
He's like, I've been waiting for this one, Aitor. All right.
I mean, do we need Spiv for sword and sorcery type of thing? Lindsay likes them. AJ likes them. AJ likes. It's hard to read him though because he's so contrary.
I'll pick something. It'll be a surprise.
Okay, surprise us.
I feel like we had, what was that movie that we wanted to do where they were driving and it had like hard driving or something like that?
With not Travolta, John Cusack.
Yeah, what was that called? Yeah.
And what's his name?
Yeah, what was that called? The hard drive? Driving hard?
Drive Hard.
It was literally called Drive Hard?
It's called Drive Hard.
All right, let's do that.
Oh, this is going to be so bad. Thomas Jane, right? And
yeah,
Drive Hard. Australian direct-to-video.
Mr. Keller.
Mr. Roberts.
That must be my 9 o'clock.
Do you think just stop over at the bank for 5 minutes?
This looks so good.
Sure. Why don't we take it out on the main road and we'll see where you're at.
God, they're all ridiculous.
The other side. Hang a right. Hey.
5 minutes.
Oh, Jesus. So bad.
Drive.
Oh, shit.
This looks badass.
This looks fucking badass, guys.
It's so bad, though. John Cusack as like a action guy.
Yeah.
Criminal. Want to be criminal, man?
What's this streaming on?
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
It says it's on Tubi. Let me see if it actually is. It is on Tubi. So that's what we're doing next week, guys. The 2014 movie Drive Hard, starring John Cusack. A former hotshot race car driver now living a quiet life is abducted by a thief and forced to be the wheelman for a $9 million heist.
Oh, man.
Sounds pretty cool.
Sean says it's enjoyable. Sean would know.
Sean, is there a movie you haven't seen?
No. Transient. Which, by the way, guys, Transient, which is our movie, is available now on Amazon, so go rent it and then leave a review.
How will they find it? Did they actually correct it? Like, is it?
No, it's on Amazon. It's just the trailer's not on there for some reason.
Oh, that sucks.
But you can rent it and it's available everywhere else too. So go check that out and then check out Drive Hard, and then we will catch you here next week, guys, on the Bad Movie Night. So thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Bad Movie Night podcast.
The Bad Movie Night.